You're about to book a flight, then bam, the price jumps by hundreds of dollars. It's not your imagination. Delta Airlines is now using AI to change prices in real time based on your behavior or maybe even the device you're using. Basically, they're charging you more than what the flight should actually cost just because they think you'll pay it. But that's just the start of how airlines are squeezing more money out of passengers right now. In this video, I'm breaking down 9 sneaky airline fees and pricing tricks you need to know about, and how to beat them. So to get started, let's look at how Delta is using AI to personalize your ticket price. They're likely tracking things like how you browse on their app or on their website, your past activity, what device you use, and even how many times you've checked the same flight. From there, they tweak the fare in real time to see just how much more you're willing to pay. A $200 flight might quietly become a $240 flight if you hesitate. For you, a normally $100 flight could cost $180. You could think of it as surge pricing but for planes, except it's based on creepy data instead of demand. Imagine last year you had to pay a high last-minute fare due to a family emergency. Delta's AI pricing might take that into consideration and try to charge you even more. It's absurd. The Department of Transportation should have shut it down yesterday, but don't worry, you can beat it. Start your search on a third-party website like Google Flights, Kayak, Momondo, or Skyscanner. These show you the real fares, no AI manipulation. If you're not ready to actually book yet, you can always set a Google Flights price alert and watch fares over time. But say you are ready to book. To avoid personalized pricing, go direct to the airline, but in a private or incognito window, and do not log into your account. There you should be able to book at the AI free price. Then, once you're done, just add your frequent flyer number to the reservation. And I'm not the only one raising questions here. US senators are currently demanding transparency from airlines on this. I mean, right now there just doesn't seem to be much transparency from the airline. Delta says they're not using personal info or planning to, but it's hard to imagine how personalized pricing works without at least some personal data. But even when you beat this AI game, airlines still have more traps waiting for you. And here's a sneaky one that you probably don't even realize you're paying for. You'd probably assume when booking flights online, the normal payment method is with a card. But an increasing number of airlines are adding fees to pay with a card. Sometimes it's just for foreign credit cards, but sometimes it goes even further. I've personally encountered this the most in Europe. Budget airlines like Wizz Air and Ryanair definitely charge these kinds of fees, though it's probably not that surprising coming from them. But the thing is, a ton of full-service airlines are charging them too. To take a few examples, Lufthansa, Air France, and even Singapore Airlines are charging you an extra fee to pay with a card. But you can beat those fees. First off, if you're booking flights in a currency other than that of your bank account, make sure you're paying with a card that does not charge foreign transaction fees. That can easily make your flight ticket cost 3% or even 5% more than it should. But if you see an airline charging an extra fee for paying with your card on the final page before booking, you've got options. Sometimes these fees will only apply to certain types of cards. Ryanair, for example, usually doesn't charge fees if you're using a debit card in the currency of your booking. If you have the right card, it might be worth just booking with that one. And some airline apps will not charge you a fee if you pay using your digital wallet. But there's one more solution that's worth having in your back pocket. Say you're booking some Lufthansa flights in euros, but you only have cards in USD that Lufthansa charges a fee for. Head back to a website like Google Flights and see which third-party websites have the same flights available for the same price or less. A lot of third-party websites don't charge credit card fees, so you might be able to skip them entirely. Just be extra careful with double-checking the details of your booking before paying, and keep in mind that third-party customer service can be worse than the airlines. Then there's the basic economy trap. Basic economy tickets can seem really cheap, but they're designed to lure you in and make you spend more later. A lot of basic economy tickets do not include a full-size carry-on bag, only a tiny underseat bag usually referred to as a personal item. And say you had hoped to be able to select a certain type of seat. That's extra, if they even let you pay at all. Sometimes your only option might be a randomly allocated seat at check-in. And if you're used to the flexibility of being able to change flights without paying an extra fee or canceling for travel credit, basic economy might not let you do that either. But beating basic economy just takes a little bit of know-how. Always compare the price of basic economy to standard economy. If it's like a $50 difference and you know you're going to need to select a seat and bring a full-size carry-on, regular economy could be cheaper. But if you really just have to stick with booking basic economy, know how to make the best of it. Only bring a compact personal item that will fit under your seat. I was able to travel for 10 days straight with one of these, so with a few tricks it's totally doable. And if you get randomly allocated the worst middle seat, try asking the gate agent if they don't mind seating you somewhere else. This has worked for me many times. We'll talk more about seats later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But basic economy is basically full-service airlines making an excuse to nickel and dime you like budget airlines do. And speaking of budget airlines, airlines like EasyJet, Spirit, Ryanair, and Frontier have all been taking turns in the headlines recently for paying their gate agents millions in commissions to catch oversized carry-ons. And depending on the airline, oversized gate check fees can get into the hundreds, even if your bag is only like 2 inches too big or 2 pounds too heavy. The exact amount airline employees can get paid for this does vary, but to take one example, Ryanair's current gate bag bonus is around €1.50 per passenger, capped at €80 a month. And they're currently considering increasing the bonus. All that said, I've snuck oversized bags onto budget airlines dozens and dozens of times. In fact, I've never even had to pay them any extra fees. But the rules are unreasonably strict, and the only 100% sure way to avoid their sneaky fees is to know exactly the size and weight of your bag and make sure it fits their requirements. But the madness with carry-on baggage doesn't end there. I mean, this one is really insane. Imagine you have your underseat backpack on your back and a jacket or maybe a camera in your hand. Then upon boarding, suddenly you're told your backpack counts as a full-size carry-on because your jacket or camera is the single personal item or underseat carry-on you're allowed. Recently, a Frontier Airlines passenger reported being told to pay a $100 bag fee at boarding simply because they were holding their jacket rather than wearing it. That doesn't mean this happens to everyone holding a jacket every time, but considering agent incentives and the airline's overly strict rules, it's definitely a better safe than sorry situation. And it's not just the budget airlines either. Even airlines you'd think would be chill like Southwest have quietly tightened baggage allowances and are cracking down hard at the gate. The foolproof way to beat airlines at their own game here is to consolidate everything into a bag that fits their weight and size requirements. So that means no small bag, camera, or jacket in your hand. But those jacket pockets are a great place to stash a little bit extra without raising any red flags. Nobody wants surprise fees at the gate unless you're being paid to hand them out. And on the topic of baggage, things can sometimes get a little messy when your trip involves more than one airline on a single ticket. British Airways with American Airlines, United with Air Canada, it could really be any combination. Suddenly you might be juggling different baggage rules on the same itinerary. And here's the thing. The rules for check bags and carry-on bags can be completely different from airline to airline. Say you booked a ticket with JetBlue and Hawaiian Airlines on the same ticket. JetBlue allows a standard size carry-on with no weight limit at all. But Hawaiian has a 25-pound or 11-kilogram weight limit, which I've actually seen them enforcing. If your bag were overweight, you could end up having to pay a fee even though you followed JetBlue's rules. The good news is that this kind of thing does not apply to check bags, only carry-on bags. Your check baggage allowance is generally based on the rules of whatever carrier is operating the longest flight on your ticket. So, in short, you always want to pack for whatever the strictest baggage policy will be on any trip you take. And speaking of baggage, check bag fees have been quietly going up recently. I mean, just on domestic flights in the US, most carriers are now charging between $35 and $45 per bag. And if you haven't heard, this now also includes Southwest Airlines. You don't get any free checked baggage with them anymore. And international flights are also showing the same trend, with airlines like Air Canada, Air France, and really a ton of others at times charging more than $100 to check a bag. Checked baggage fees are easy to beat though. First off, it's almost always cheaper to prepay for a checked bag. Depending on the airline, it's often cheaper when booking your ticket. But there are ways to get out of paying for a checked bag entirely. Tons of airline co-branded credit cards offer free checked baggage as a perk, and holding even the lowest airline status will usually get you a free checked bag. Alright, let's move on to one of the most quietly frustrating fees. We've moved way past the days of just paying $12 to select a window seat. Now, a lot of airlines try to upsell you with bundles instead of letting you just pick your seat. These bundles will often include extras like priority boarding, but if it's not something you'd usually pay for, it's probably not worth it. And even just paying to select a seat isn't always an option anymore. On some budget airlines or when booking a basic economy fare, you literally can't choose your seat ahead of time, even if you want to. That means you're stuck with whatever the system gives you. Middle seat, last row, next to the bathroom. Yep, it's all on the table. If you're willing to take some risk, you could settle for playing a game of check-in chicken. Don't pick a seat, wait until check-in opens, usually 24 hours before departure, and just see what you get. Sometimes you'll be surprised and find yourself in a premium seat. Other times you will be stuck in the worst middle seat on board. But to reiterate what we talked about earlier, it never hurts to ask for a better seat at the gate. And one thing I find a lot of parents are not aware of yet, if you're traveling with kids in the United States, the law now requires airlines to seat children under 13 next to a parent or guardian for free. So don't get tricked into paying for peace of mind when it's already guaranteed. And if all these annoying fees weren't enough, what was once free on board no longer is. Airlines are now charging for everything that we used to take for granted. Headphones, water, meals, little amenity kits, the list goes on. And I'm not talking about budget airlines. Back in 2019, Lufthansa served meals and drinks on flights within Europe. Now you basically get a water bottle. Same goes for tons of other airlines around the world. And some don't even give you free water anymore. And on top of that, if you really urgently needed something, I don't know, say water, you might not even have a way to pay for it. Many airlines have gone cashless, and some have even gone cardless at checkout, saying you can only purchase via their app, often prior to the flight. Airlines seem to be saving money wherever they legally can, and all kinds of issues are arising. Recently, a passenger was reportedly escorted off a Ryanair flight by police upon landing because her card didn't work. And it may have been because the airline card reader wasn't functioning properly. But it's easy enough to avoid ever having to pay any onboard fees at all. You can almost always bring your own snacks. Only a handful of airlines such as Scoot don't allow that. And headphones and a refillable water bottle are always a good idea. I mean, they've stripped away just about everything that used to make flying feel, I don't know, human. But you don't have to fall for airline fees and tricks. From AI-powered pricing traps to onboard paywalls, airlines are doing everything they can to look cheap while quietly charging you more. But now you've got the tools to beat them at their own game. So if this helped you dodge even just one airline fee, or you just really enjoyed the video, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next video.